welcome everyone to the Mom Live Show. Today we're diving into a topic that affects us all, whether we know it or not, and that is branding. Have you ever stopped to think about the power of your brand? How it can influence our choices, our perceptions, and even our emotions? What about those of your audience? Well, get ready to be inspired because we have a guest today who knows how to master the art of branding like a boss. Welcome again to the Mom Live Show. I am Rashida Green, the founder and CEO of Get Right Coaching, the host of the Mompreneur HQ community, and the creator of the Digimompreneur Academy, where we help moms who are determined to find time, money, and location freedom and start, grow, and scale an online business so that they can build the life of their dreams without neglecting themselves or their families in the process. And we do that through content, through community, through now also the Digimompreneur Academy. So if you are joining us live, make sure you put hashtag live in the comments. And if you're joining us via replay, hashtag replay, let us know where you are watching us from. We'd like to know how far our reach goes. So just let us know in the comments. If you have questions at any point in today's show to ask a question, go ahead and drop it in the comment field and we'll get to it as earliest as we can. So grab your pen, paper, pencil, and whatever device you use, a digital device you use to take notes so that you can be ready to get all the goodness that we're going to find out and listen to today. Imagine having the ability to craft a brand that not only stands out, but leaves an indelible mark on the hearts and minds of your audience. Think about the impact that could have. I mean, really, the impact that can have on your business, whether it be financially or just in growth in general, your career, or even your personal brand. It is a skill that can transform not just your presence in the marketplace, but your entire trajectory in your life. Because guess what? You are your brand. Again, whether you realize it or not, we are brand ambassadors of something. We can be a brand ambassador of our family, brand ambassador of our passions, of our business, of our family. And then unknowingly, we can be brand ambassadors of a movie franchise, of a restaurant franchise, or what have you. But branding is a part of life in general. But we want to know all about branding for our business. And our guest today, Nadia Monsano, is a true expert in this field. She's not only a six-time, did I say six-time? Six-time international baby, international best-selling author, but also a marketing and branding specialist who has helped countless individuals and businesses shine in the digital realm. And I'm raising my hand because if you don't already know, Nadia Monsano is also part of the Mompreneur HQ team. And so she helps us out with this broadcast specifically, as well as designing. She does digital business cards, but we're not even going to get all into that right just this moment. I'm not going to advertise. I'm going to let her speak for herself because she is here to share her insights on the importance of brand representation. So today, as we get ready to talk about branding. And if you've ever even wondered how to make your brand speak volumes, captivate your audience, and leave a lasting impression, then you are in the right place. Get ready to learn from the best and discover the secrets to branding like a boss. Welcome, Nadia Monsano.
Hey, Rashida. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you for joining us today. I mean, technically, you join us every Wednesday at 2
Every
p.m.
Wednesday, right? Too.
Right. But today we are having you on as a special guest because branding is one of those conversations that we typically have in business. And we want to know what's happening in the world of branding, what we should be doing, what things stick out, and what things should we refrain from doing, even. But before we get into all of that, Nadia, if you can tell us a bit about you.
Of course. Again, thank you so much for having me on this on the broadcast live today. I'm normally in the background as the producer. So I am super excited to be here with you. So I am Nadia Monsano for anyone who does not know me. My company's name is My Sister Keeper, and I offer branding, marketing, and graphic design services, as well as obviously show production, right? So I help female entrepreneurs show up online professionally where individuals would want to work with you. As Rashida said in the beginning, you are your brand, right? So sometimes you have to sit back and look at your brand and say, would you shop with you? Would you do business with yourself? And if the answer is no, then something needs to change, right? So I am here to help guide you along the process of branding like a boss, showing up online professionally, again, so that others can work alongside you or with you or want to shop with you and enjoy your brand. So that's just a little bit about myself.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing that. I know that, it had to be a journey to get here because tell us a little bit about your career and your service to the States, to America.
All right. Of course. So, just a little bit about myself. I am originally from the beautiful island of Trinidad and Tobago. A little bit of the accent came out there, right? So, from Trinidad and Tobago, I came here at the early age of 13, went to, of course, school in America. And fast forward to when I graduated from high school, I realized that, I did not want to sit in a regular classroom to go to college. I took the exciting route and I joined the US Army right out of high school. So I a veteran of the United States Army. I did all my schooling and all those things within my career within the US Army. And then when I came out of the Army, I became an operations manager in a pharmaceutical company, right? Nothing to do with graphics or branding or anything, right, throughout my career. And then I started the company, My Sister Keeper. Why did I start the company, My Sister Keeper? And if you realize, I always like to tell individuals there's no S on sister in my business. So it's not My Sister's Keeper, it's my sister with no S. And that's because I work with one sister at a time to help them brand and establish their business. And then we form a sisterhood. So that's the difference of why I did not add an S to right? And just to fast forward into, we all knew that in 2020, a whole pandemic happened, right? A
Mhm.
pandemic happened. And right before the pandemic happened, if you're like me, you're a planner, especially if you're an entrepreneur, a woman entrepreneur, right? We sit and we plan, we cross T's, we dot I's, and we have backup plan to the backup plan,
All
right?
right.
That right. So that's what I did. I made my plan was originally for my sister keeper to go out and represent businesses. So I would go in person to businesses and you would hire me like your PR person, and I will go and introduce your business to someone else's business that I would think your business would be good for, and I would do the pitch, right? Because some people are a little bit shy, they don't want to go out and talk to other
Mm,
business owners. So I was going to be that PR person to your business, and I was going to represent your business for you.
okay.
Then, of course, the pandemic happened and we couldn't go nowhere, right? We
Mhm.
were stuck at home. So what did I have to do? I could have just said, you know what, I'll wait for this pandemic to be over before I go into the business model that I built. Or I pivoted within my business and I realized how I can now come online virtually and show up professionally online. So what do I do now? I do graphic designs for business owners. Their flyers, their business cards, their promotional items that they're going to need, that for them to be able to send out to business owners, or just aesthetically on your Facebook page or your Instagram page. How do you show up? So I make the graphics that make your business look like $1 million brand
All
so
right.
that others can shop with you. So that's just a little bit about how my sister keeper got started.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing that detail because I did not know you started out as a PR representation company.
Yes.
So that is, but I do see the connection in how you connect people and you have a business directory that you share with people in your community who, need to get connected to other businesses and to be able to get guests on their shows or
Yeah.
so I can see that too, that whole connector that you are in that space. So that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that bit of information and getting me hip,
Right.
because I already know that you are my fellow serial entrepreneur, multi-passionate sister. So let's talk about some of those six-time international
Mhm.
best sellers that you have.
Yes. So not only did I, pivot in my business from actually being a PR person for your business and teaching you how to come online professionally, I got approached with my first anthology to write a story. And I'm like, write a story? I don't have a story to share, right? Or writing, I don't know how to sit and write, anything at that point, right? Like, you want me to write a proposal? Got you. You want me to write a business plan? Definitely got you. But to sit and literally tell a story of something that has been going on within my life, most people are private about that. But what I want others to understand, especially if you're listening to this broadcast, is that your story can actually help someone else. It can impact someone else's life. So my very first anthology was Step into Leadership Greatness. And it was called that because a lot of people who are leaders don't even realize that they are leaders. At a very young age, right when I was in high school, backstory, I was working, my very first job was working at McDonald's. And as I was working at McDonald's, my manager saw in me leadership because I would always take charge in being the first to go clean the lobby or, fill up the fry station without someone saying it needs to be done, right? Even
Mhm,
those little things can show that you are a leader. You take initiative to do something before someone tells you to do it, right?
mhm.
So she approached me one day when I turned 18, getting ready to graduate high school, and said, you're definitely a leader. Would you like to help operate the store? I'm like, operate the store, like store manager, and got promoted to store manager, right?
Wow.
So in my Step into Leadership book, I talked about a time where an individual came into the McDonald's with her children, and she had just lost her job, and the last thing that she could have done was purchase a meal for her kids. And I saw that distressed look on her face. And when she purchased her meal, I said, you know what? Because I was a store manager at the time, I said, your meal is on me. You just look like you've had a really long day and you're just trying to feed your kids, right? And when she sat in the lobby, something just said, go talk to this individual. And I realized in that conversation that she had lost her job, but she had a management role and she had great skills. So I was able to see that skill set in her. And the very next day, I went to my manager and I said, listen, I know we're looking for another store manager. And I just met an individual yesterday who I think would be a really good fit for this job. Fast forward, they did the interview, she got hired, and she's actually a regional director in McDonald's now,
Wow.
right? Just
Wow.
by me being able to pull and see leadership in someone. So that's the story that I shared in Step into Leadership. And then, of course, when you do one anthology, they always tell you by the time you do your first anthology, you're going to get that little a bite. And it'd be like, oh, well, when is my next story I could tell? Because it's always an exciting time to partner with other authors to share
Wow.
stories. And I just went to six, right? And now I'm excited to be my own visionary in my own anthology. And that's called The Beautiful Face of the Invisible Illness, Masking the Pain
Mm,
We Endure. And that's going to be coming out in February of 2024. So I did six. And now I'm doing my own as a visionary because now you understand the process,
mhm.
right? So you can definitely, I can definitely jump in and be successful at that as well.
Congratulations on being a six-time international bestseller. And I know with the skill set that you have and the talent that you are just and now adding visionary to that, that this next project is going to be Awesome.
Phenomenal. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes,
It's a very
yes,
big
yes.
project, so it's great.
Congratulations. I'm looking forward to it. All
Thank you.
right. So thank you for sharing all of this information about you and your past and how you got to this point of now being this branding expert. Share some more about us about the
Mhm.
power of branding and how we as mom entrepreneurs can do some simple things or what some mandatory things to make sure that our brand shines.
Absolutely. Most importantly, when I became a graphic designer, I was just, building a website for someone or, making a flyer. And then I realized after I turned over the website to you or your flyer, what were you doing with your brand? Right? Yes, you posted a flyer, or yes, you said you had a website, but are you really representing your brand professionally or correctly? Right. So, of course, teaching myself, getting certificates, and one thing I do want to say is knowledge is power. Always enhancing your knowledge, right? So I took
Right.
some courses, understood about brand marketing and representing your brand. So now before I design anything for you, we have a brand consultation. Before
Okay.
I even make you a flyer or a logo, we have a conversation. And, most people are like, oh, you're such a good business coach. Like you pulled things out of us that we never thought that was in ourselves. And
Okay.
that's what you have to do. It's not, so I'm not the graphic designer that you say, okay, design me the flyer and I design it and I deliver and I move on to someone else. I am the graphic designer where, because I care about you and your business and your representation of your business, we have a consultation, a branding consultation. Why are you starting this business? What is the purpose of this business? What are your, so for example, I have a lot of authors or coaches that are my clients, right? And if you are a life coach, you don't want for your brand colors for your business to be bright red, neon yellow, right? You have to, there's something called a moon board for colors, like how colors will make you feel. And I didn't even realize it until I learned all about it, which is absolutely true. Because
Mhm.
think of it, when you're scrolling through your social media pages and there is something about a flyer or a logo or a promotion that makes you stop and
Stop.
actually
Mhm.
pay attention to it,
Mhm.
right? And you got to figure out what made you stop. Was it the bright colors because it was a great event that's coming up? And you're like, ooh, if they put all this time into preparing marketing properly, imagine what they're going to do for the event, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So it makes you stop and say, oh, I would like to attend this because they literally took the time to make this event look really great just online, right? And then think of the time where you're scrolling and you see someone just posted like a Word document they just uploaded and it was like, come to my event. And you're like, yeah, no, I don't know what's going to be at this event, but it's not going to be with me being in
Absolutely.
attendance,
Right,
right?
exactly. Mm-mm.
No. So this is why branding your business is so important as far as colors are concerned, as far as how your graphics look, right? So I will always tell my clients, do not hold back in investing in your brand. That is the biggest investment that you can do, but it's worth every penny when you find a good brand ambassador to help you brand your business, because that's what drives your clients to you. That's what drives traffic to your business. That's what makes people stop and pay attention to what you have to say online. And that is the power of branding.
Well, thank you for letting us know that. The power of branding, yes, mood boards, selecting those colors, and for me, it definitely hear that client, knowing who your audience is going to be also key because if you're a life coach and like you said, and you have a particular audience that you're coaching, like life coach to a therapist or a life coach to a yoga
Mhm.
trainer. It depends on who your audience is that will also attract that your branding is going to attract. So I like that you mentioned the mood board and really taking the opportunity to invest in your branding, because that's the first thing that people are going to see. Like you mentioned, the flyer versus the Google Doc as an ad. Like, no.
Right. Right, exactly. You definitely have to, represent your brand to the fullest of its potential. And again, like you said, definitely to your target audience, right? So it's very important. Like when I first started, I didn't put together my target audience, right? I was like, you want a flyer, I'm gonna do it for you. You want a website, I'm gonna do it for you. If you want X, but I had to niche down really on who are my target audiences, right? For me, it's female entrepreneurs now starting their business, or female entrepreneurs who want to rebrand their business because they started incorrectly in the first place. Right. So I am not really going to the established business who already have their brand already, designed and put together very well. They may come to me to get a flyer or two, sure, but I'm not investing the time that I would invest in somebody who's brand new to someone who is an expert and they've already branded their business and they just happen to need a flyer, right?
Right.
You have to understand, who are you ready to invest your time in from your business perspective so that you can focus on them. Yes, you may get some one or two outside of your niche clients that will come to you for something.
Mhm.
However, you have to understand the purpose of your business, the problem it's going to solve, and who are you solving that problem for, and that's your target market. And then if you are dealing with teenagers, they like the emojis and the all those um definitely emojis. Like you got to add some type of emoji or some kind of animation or
Mhm.
something, because their eyes just need to see something moving and it looks funny and they could laugh or something,
Right.
and you could go with that. But if your target audience is for someone like me who is, we're going to say in the 30s, right? 30, 40s, right? I don't need an animation. Like, I don't need an emoji to jump out at me for you to get my attention, right?
Right.
So you have to understand your target market so that you can understand the content that you can start to grab that attention of your target market, right? So that's the purpose of, and I don't want you to think branding is just colors and marketing materials. Branding also has to do with how your business shows up, the content that you put out online. So all of that wraps up into branding. Ads that you may run, all of
Mhm.
that turns into branding.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing that and adding that last piece right there. It's not just about colors. So if you had a new client coming on, I know that you mentioned that you want to have a consultation, but what are the first three things that you want to attack or ask about when you're reaching out, when you're having a conversation with a new client? What are those three major things that you start out with trying to tackle?
Yes, thank you for asking that question, because that's very important, right? What does your first 15 minutes look like with me? Now, if you're like me and you are a serial entrepreneur, you have all the ideas in the world in your head. Right, that part, right? So
Right, right.
you want to save the world. You want to be able to have your business save the world. And you are a crafter, you could sing, you could dance, you could sew, you can coach, you can do all of that, right?
Mhm, mhm,
Now, my first question to you is, what is your talents? What are you talented at doing? And we're going to write down all your talents that you know that you can do very well. Then I will ask you, what do you think you can coach someone about? Especially if you're coming into the coaching business, right? And then it's okay, you can coach someone how to sew, you can coach someone how to draw. Or are you an e-commerce person that you just want to sell online? You don't want to show up with videos and do presentations or anything. You just want to have an e-commerce store and ship product. right? So we have to niche down to your exact talent, and then niche down to exactly why you want to be able to do this exact same thing, and how do you want to work with your target audience. Who is your target audience? We're going to niche all the way down to your target audience before I
Okay.
even design anything for you, because your design of your website or your graphics decides who your target audience is, right? And then we work together, of course, to pick your brand colors. And I actually work with you when we do our Zoom consultations. I love working in Canva. Shameless plug to Canva. If you don't have Canva, you need it in your business.
Mm-hmm.
And they do have great free version
Yes,
that
they
you
do.
can use. But what I do in my Canva is I put the two colors that you picked together. We find the hex codes or color codes, and
Mm-hmm.
we put them together side by side on swatches on Canva. And we actually see how they compare and contrast to each other. Because again, you will say, "Oh, I love purple and I want gold." I want you to understand purple has a million different shades. Gold has even more than a million different shades, right? So we have to be very specific on the colors that we're choosing for your business, because we just niche down to your client, your
Mm-hmm.
perfect client, and the perfect business that you want to start, right? And so now we have color swatches that we go through with each other. And oh, I thought I liked that deep purple, but no, let's lighten that up just a little bit
Right.
because that looked way too dark, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we work together. And from there, we decide, the color, your logo, the name. Naming your business is part of your brand as well, right? We first of all, we got to make sure the name is available, because we don't want to have the same name as another business.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to make sure it's a name that someone can pronounce very easily.
Mm-hmm.
And getting your domain name as your business name is important as well. And I don't want to type out Nadia Monsano, the author of, mysisterkeeper.com. No. Okay, because by the time I put Nadia in, I can't remember the rest of your domain, right? So
Right.
we got to pick the right domain for your business, and then picking your right business name is important as well. So we go through some naming conventions as far as your business name is concerned, and then we're off to the races on designing and coaching with me together. So that's what your first 15 minutes look like.
Oh my goodness. Did you say first 15 minutes? That
First
sounds like
15.
that was a whole entire hour coaching session. 15 minutes. Wow.
Your
That's high
first
pressure.
15.
That means she's getting to the point and
To
you
the
ain't gonna
point.
have no time to be dibbling dabbling.
No.
She's gonna ask you the question, you better come with an answer. So come prepared. When she send you that email
Right.
confirmation for your Zoom, that means it's gonna have you're gonna have some homework in there. And when you come to the meeting, you're gonna be ready.
Be ready.
That is the power of branding your business like a boss. Thank you so much, Nadia, for filling up our time with just so much great information. And I believe that each and every one of the people that watch this show will gain some great insight as to why it is important to think about your brand, and not only just think about it, but to invest in your brand, because that is what people will see. Again, it's not just colors, but it's all encompassing, because you are also your brand. When you walk out the door, when somebody cuts you off in the street, depending on how you respond, right? And then they see you and you do something, flip them the bird. And then, 2 days later, you see them in the store. You like, oh, and or at a conference where you were looking to sell your products and find out that this person was actually somebody who of influence, right? So our brand is all encompassing, not just colors, not just website, but who we are as individuals. And so we thank you for sharing that with us. Any last parting words, Nadia?
It's time to brand your business like a boss. It's time to represent your business as you would want someone to work with you, right? So definitely take the time to invest in your brand, and you will reap the rewards of getting the right clients that will come to you willing to pay for your service.
And that's what we want. We're in business. We want clients willing to pay. Thank you again, Nadia, and for all of you who watched us via live or replay. Thank you for joining us. And we are so glad that you were able to be with us and grab these nuggets. You should go ahead and take a photocopy of your notes and just go ahead and put it in the comment field so that we can see how much you were writing down on this brand like a boss session. And we want you to make sure that you follow us in our social media. Check out our website. Let us know what your website is, Nadia. So,
Of course. So to reach me, it is my sister keeper biz, and remember, no S on sister. So my sister keeper biz, and you can go to my services tab to book your free consultation with me, and let's start branding your business like a.
all right. Thank you all for your time, and we'll see you again right here next week. Until next time.
Bye, everyone.